Ready? Ready? Fetch. Good. Heel. Heel. Sit. Out. Sit. Okay. So this is a real, now you're going to have to behave yourself. This is a really important little piece because, you all know what a mulligan is? That's a golf terminology. Quit it. Heel over here. So when you hit a bad shot and either you're playing with some friends that allow you to have a mulligan, or you're playing by yourself and you take all the mulligans you want. If you're not a golfer, then you have something called a do-over. That means you screwed something up and you're going to try to fix it. So the last video we did was about a slow loopy sit. You can call it a loopy sit, a slow sit, or a no sit, but none of them are any good. And sometimes I make the mistake of assuming everybody knows what I'm talking about, that everybody's advanced, there's no beginners, et cetera, et cetera. So the truth is there are people that are on their first dog that are just learning. There are people that have trained several field champions, and I have to try to make a speech that everybody can understand. So let's say what I'm going to do today is go step by step, right down the line on what you do with a loopy sit. Now, part of this was triggered by a phone call I had with my friend Jim Wegner up in Chicago, who's a really outstanding trainer, and he has one of my best videos that I have is called The Game, which is about the relationship you have with your dog, how to teach the game, how to teach the dog to focus on you, how you become the reward to the dog, all of that. Jim did that video, and really if you don't have it, you should get it. It's invaluable if you really want to develop the relationship you have with your dog. But he pointed out, he said, it was a good video, but you forgot the main thing. You forgot the most important part of it, which is what I'm going to describe right now, which is really step one. Now, I made the mistake of assuming everybody would know this, but they don't. Everybody does not know it, and I proved it by asking a few people this very question. And here it is. The dog's out there on a blind, way out, and you blow the whistle, and you get this big loopy sit. What do you do? So I asked several people, what do you do when that happens? Well, you wait for him to sit and then you cast and keep a note that you've had a loopy sit. Well, that's what I forgot to address. So the thing you don't do when you get a loopy sit is make a cast. You're saying, oh, you had a loopy sit, and therefore I'm going to reward you by letting you get the bird. And that's what you don't do. You say, oh, a loopy sit. Come here, little boy or little girl, we're going to have to work on sitting on the whistle. You're not going to get a cast. You're not going to get a bird. You're not going to get the mark. You're not going to get anything. What you are going to get is a lesson in sitting. So you get the loopy sit, you stop, the dog finally comes to a stop, you say, here, you bring the dog in, and now you're going to work on a more fast, quick, rapid sit. Now, while I'm on that topic, this applies to all training. If you're heeling to the line in training and the dog forges in front of you, what are you not going to do? Go to line and shoot a bird. You're going to bring the dog back and you can say, wait a minute, we have to learn to heel 2-line. You don't just run up there and get what you want. You're going to stay with me so you can do what I want, which is going to be part of the thing. So in training, when there's a mistake, obviously you can't do it in a competition, but you can do it in training. You say, whoops, you didn't take the cast. You come in here, we're going to work on casting. Now let's try it again. You can't just continue on, because the dog gets the idea that not stopping quickly or not casting or skipping a piece of water or any other numerous types of infractions is okay. We're just going to continue on anyway. So that's really what's going on here. So now I'm going to reverse myself again. Come over here. You got to face the camera. You're such a handsome boy. Sit. Sit. Stay there. So the dog has a loopy sit. You bring him in. You say, danger? We're going to work on a quicker sit. So this part is like an introduction to quick sit. It's not teaching the dog how to sit. You've already done that. This is where you go with the jerk first and then the whistle. So that looks like this. Let's go, buddy. Good. So what you're doing, it wasn't that much fun. So what you're doing is a yard drill with a rope, quick sit. You do not do this without a rope. But when you've done this a little bit, the ideal thing would be to do something like a wide drill where you're fairly close to the dog and get in a situation where you have to stop them on the whistle. And you're hoping that your little drill taught them to sit quick. So you go into a wide drill or some kind of a close handling drill. It could be any kind of a drill where you're going to use a whistle and you're going to be close. If that's satisfactory, then you develop a situation where you're trying to stop the dog at a little further range, then a little further, then a little further. And as soon as you get to the point where the dog maybe reverts back to a slow sit, then you come back and you go through this again. I'm assuming that you want to develop a quick sit. You're not going to have that happen if you allow a slow sit. When you get a slow sit, that means, whoops, time to go back and practice a fast sit. So here's the steps. 1, if you get a loopy sit, you bring the dog in, you practice in the yard a fast sit. That's step 2. Step 3 is you do a handling situation close to you. Step 4, a little further out. Step 5, a little further out. Step 6, a little further out, until you're getting the kind of quick, snappy sit that you want and need. Because if you don't have one, you're going to be in trouble. The dog's going to have a slow sit. He's going to end up sitting behind a bush. You're going to be running back and forth online trying to figure out where he is. And you can't plan your blind like you could if you can put your dog right on a dime. Tweet, sit, he's right there. Then you can cast. So when you get the loopy sit, bring him in, practice in the yard, practice a little further away, practice further away and further away until you are satisfied. And maybe it's uncovering a real problem and you have to spend a lot more time on step 2. Step 1, bring him in. Step 2, practice here. Step 3, start to extend it out into the field. Okay, now that's the complete mulligan on developing a really fast sit. So, I'm hoping that that doesn't leave a lot of people wondering what I was talking about. Now, the other thing I brought up, and you're not all helping me out here. I'm hoping you subscribe to Rumble. Okay, now there's a link below that'll take you where you have to go so you can subscribe to Rumble. You'll be doing me a big favor, and in the end, you're going to be doing yourself a big favor, because a lot of videos are not going to be anywhere but on Rumble. And they might be some of the best ones, you never know. So please do that. And also, please stay tuned for another message, a very important message. I turned and saw the light from his face, and he said to me, "Don't be afraid, because wherever you go, I will be with you. I will be by your side. I will guide your arrows and make them go straight. And you will stay strong and not become weary. And then you will come back with me in victory."